So we're going to start this week with a quote from Darth Vader. This will be a day long remembered. December 10th, 2020, massive announcements are made, and we're going to talk about it right after this.
We all know around here, Solo always does shots first. Singing Yup No, raise your glass, and sing Yup No. Sing it with me, Yup No. At the Cantina Club.
Corellia is obviously a little behind the rest of the galaxy.
Oh, we're so far ahead. You guys could never catch up. You guys could never hope to catch up. All right, so let's dive right into this. So yesterday, Disney had their investors meeting, their investors call, I think they call it. And normally that's when a lot of big announcements are made, right before they do like D23 and the investor calls and things like that. So yesterday was absolutely mind-blowing if you're a Star Wars fan. I mean, they also announced Marvel stuff and, you know, lots of other property items.
I haven't even looked at that.
Yeah, there's tons of Marvel out there as well. Yeah. Anyway, but let's jump into the Star Wars stuff. Basically, there were 10 new projects that they've announced. Obviously, they're in various stages of production. Some obviously are not in production yet. Some are in pre-production. Some are well on their way. Some of these we know about, most of them we do not. There have been a few rumors here and there. Some of them are now confirmed. So let's jump right in. I'm going to start off with a big one. Basically, the next feature film we're going to get from the Star Wars universe is Rogue Squadron. And that is going to be Christmas 2023. Yeah, and that is going to be directed by Patty Jenkins.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. So basically her most recent credits are Wonder Woman 1984. So yeah, I think she's going to be a really good choice for this. She obviously can handle action and does a good job. Let's see what else we got here. We did get, there's a teaser trailer available for this. And the way it was done was really interesting. It's just the director herself, it shows her basically talking about her father, and her father was a fighter pilot. And at one point he did give his, basically the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. And ever since then, she says that she's always tried to channel those feelings from the loss of her father into her own art that she does now, which is obviously film directing and writing and things like that. She wants to, she's always wanted to make the greatest, basically fighter movie of all time. But she just says she can never find the right material, the right script, anything like that. Well, now she's found it. But the whole time she's describing this, she looks like she's in an airplane hangar or something like that, and then finally you see her sitting in the back of like her car, like a flatbed truck almost that's open, and she's starting to get in a uniform, and suddenly you realize it's an X-wing pilot uniform she's putting it on, and she walks off, and the camera pans, and she's walking off and it is like at an airport, like a small regional type airport, and she's walking towards a full-size X-wing that's parked on the runway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really a cool little teaser.
Okay, no more describing teasers. I want to watch them.
Oh, I thought you'd watched all this stuff.
No, I haven't seen a single.
Wow,
single
I told her I literally spent like 3-4 hours last night watching this stuff over and over and over again.
No,
I've literally got all this stuff memorized.
That's why I wanted to do a reaction video for like if there is teaser trailers.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you wanted. I'm sorry. You should have told me. I didn't know. I assumed you watched everything. I assumed you were like me and you already had everything figured out.
I know. I told her not to watch anything, but I didn't.
Well, her, yeah, but I thought you already knew all about all of it. Okay.
Not really. I saw a screen grab of the titles, but I haven't seen any of the teaser trailers or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So what else do we know about the movie itself? Like a timeline or?
Nope, they haven't told us any timeline. We don't know when it's going to happen at all. Or is it going to be like the original Rogue Squadron, or is this going to be like we're putting together a new Rogue Squadron, or what? So they haven't said anything beyond that.
Wow.
So yeah, exactly. Okay, so the Rogue Squadron teaser trailer in 3, 2, 1, play.
Top Gun 2. Nice. I guess she's casting herself in it.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Girl.
Yes.
Oh, why is it? And it's a movie, right? Not a series.
That is a
Unfortunately,
movie. Yeah, that's a feature
it
film.
needs to be a series.
I was kind of disappointed to hear that it wasn't going to be a series. I was kind of stoked for it being a series, but anyway, yeah, it's going to be a feature film released Christmas 2023.
Oh man.
So that is the
2023.
yeah. So that's the
Sweet.
next the next feature film we're going to get from the Star Wars.
Can we wait? I don't know.
Oh, that's wonderful.
All right, so let me move on to the next item. Next, they talked about we've already heard about this. This is an unnamed feature film directed by Taika Waititi. Again, obviously we know him from Thor Ragnarok, the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder, and then The Mandalorian, etc., among many other things. So that's they're talking possibly, this is not official, this is just kind of in fan circles right now, but they're talking about this is possibly a 2025 release. So we're still several years away from this. But the description that Kathleen Kennedy gave about this was that this is a fresh, unexpected, and unique take on Star Wars. So we'll see where that goes.
If he's attached.
That's my thing. Yeah, it's like, I mean, he did great with The Mandalorian. I don't know. We'll see. I have my hesitations, because I mean, keep in mind, I loved, Thor Ragnarok. I thought it was amazing. I thought the humor was perfect.
What We Do in the Shadows is great.
Yeah,
Yes,
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But I just
you
don't
gotta
know if
watch
that
that.
works. And not saying that he's just going to do Thor Ragnarok Star Wars version, obviously. But if he does, that would fail miserably in my eyes. Anyway, we'll see. But we'll see. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Taika Waititi, kind of being in charge of a full feature film?
I was psyched when I heard about that before. There were the rumors about that before. I'm glad to hear that it's confirmed. And
Yeah.
that's largely because of his work on The Mandalorian. I really loved the stuff he did on first season Mandalorian. So
absolutely.
I hope that, is that all that we got about it though? We don't
Yeah.
have any other information about what it will be.
There's really nothing else. They showed a logo, but who knows if that's actually going to be the logo. I hope not.
Oh no.
Sorry. It's just it literally looks like something on Schoolhouse Rock from the 70s.
Oh no.
What's it titled?
There is no title yet. It's unnamed.
It just says
It just had the Star Wars logo
Oh, okay.
behind Kathleen Kennedy while she was talking about him doing a film.
Isn't he doing the next Thor movie?
Yeah,
Is
Love
that-
and Thunder.
That's Love and Thunder. See?
Yeah, Love and Thunder.
Love and lightsabers.
Love and lightsabers. Okay, any other thoughts on that before we move on?
I'm looking forward to it, especially if he leapfrogged Ryan Johnson.
Oh yeah, I think he has. There was no mention of Ryan Johnson in this entire.
There was
thing.
no mention. Oh, that's a good spoiler to have.
No mention.
Although I gotta say, Knives Out was great, but again, not a Star Wars type movie at all.
Yeah.
And the humor, Ryan Johnson's humor, kind of like Taika's, isn't what you would label as Star Wars humor. But they've shown in The Mandalorian, IG-11 had a lot of his kind of quirks. You wonder how much he contributed to the humor of that character.
Right.
So I think he can rein it in, possibly.
Yeah, like I said, he did a great job on. I was
don't
actually
know.
worried about the episode of The Mandalorian. I was afraid we were going to get Thor Ragnarok.
But here's the thing:
Mandalorian style,
is we don't know what it is, and as long as it's not the original trilogy, kind of stuff, swing for the fences. As far as I'm concerned, do whatever you want, because it looks like there's going to be plenty of things for us to focus on, and if if one isn't to our taste, you know, or 2 or 3 or whatever, that's
You
so
got
be it. I mean, it's kind
6
of
or
what
7
happens.
others, yeah,
Yeah.
to choose from.
Yeah,
So,
and you hire him, you got to know what you're getting, kind of. I mean, you
yeah,
know, is that
absolutely.
New Zealand type humor or whatever you call it.
Right, right. Okay, so moving on to the next one, we did get finally confirmation. I mean, we knew this was in production, but now they are definitely moving forward with, and the official title is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, not just Kenobi. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is definitely in production, or in pre-production now. It's going to go into full production in March of 2021. So that's an expected 2022 release, and that's going to be probably a limited series. But here's the biggest announcement about all of that. Hayden Christensen will be reprising his role as Vader.
Oh,
He will be portraying
wow.
Darth Vader in this series.
This big.
What do we know about when this series will be set? It's sometime when he's living on Tatooine,
It's
right?
10 years. It's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So it's like the
Okay.
halfway point. So Luke should be rough, you know, like I said, 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
But
about,
who will
about the
voice
halfway.
Vader? Will James Earl Jones? Are they going to have Vader in a television series? Will
Mhm.
James Earl Jones do the voice?
I'm sure he probably would. I don't see why he wouldn't do it. He's done on everything else that that they've asked him to do,
Oh
film
my
wise.
word!
They've also got
Wow.
people capable of doing the Vader
They can
voice that-
replicate the voice.
if-
Yeah,
if
I know, like
people
video
have to-
games and things like that. You can almost can't tell the difference.
Yeah,
You know?
if people have to adjust to it, they're going to have to eventually, because
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
James Earl Jones won't be available to do it
Won't
forever.
live forever. Yeah,
But
exactly.
also, I wonder, did they say specifically he's Vader in this, or did they
Yes.
say? Well, I mean,
mean,
Vader
Or
was
could it be
also.
flashbacks to Anakin?
That's
Well,
what
that's-
I'm thinking.
Well, that's what the speculation is, but it could be all the above. You know,
Yeah.
it could be flashbacks. It could be him in the back to tank. It could be, you know, him without his helmet on. You know, whatever. You know, and they'll just put makeup on his face to show the
Yeah,
disfigurement.
the reason I underreact to that news is not because of Hayden Christensen, because he's fine and he's
Yeah.
a long time, and I'd be interested to see what he does now with, you know, a more actor friendly director and some better dialogue.
Mhm.
But you know, some of that, and he was a kid. I mean, he was just a kid.
Sure.
So that stuff wasn't his fault, but I just sort of think leave Vader well enough alone. You know, if you're going to use him to punch up some projects here and there, that's one thing, you know, kind of fan service moments. But making an Obi-Wan series and having Vader be a part of it could potentially be really. There's so many ways they could do it. It could be a flashback to them when they were Master and Apprentice, or when they were both Jedi Knights.
Mhm.
It could be a missing scene in there somewhere that we didn't get to see, you know, in Revenge of the Sith. Or
Right.
it could be Obi-Wan gets tangled up in some business that Vader gets tangled up in, and Obi-Wan is avoiding him
Mhm.
the whole time. And Obi-Wan learns things about Vader, which is where he comes to the whole he's more machine now than man line in A New
Right.
Hope, where he's
Right.
learned some things about him. But Vader never really knows he's there, because I can't see them crossing swords again or anything.
No.
But they could finally give us some cool shit like a flashback to them training together where they're fighting each other and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because Hayden Christensen just still looks like a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
stuff they
he's-
have now, it'd be easy, and just makeup to make him look,
Mhm.
put him
Well,
right back in
you're
that
worried
space.
about. You're saying kind of leave Vader well enough alone. I part of me agrees, but at the same time, with a series that's focused on Obi-Wan in exile, that was the fundamental relationship of his life that put him into exile. You know, you're going to have something in that series that deals with that relationship. So if it's flashbacks or whatever, it seems like that's going to be to some degree necessary to maybe give some kind of emotional grounding to the
I don't think
series.
so. I just disagree, but that's okay. I think there's all kinds of things you could do with Obi-Wan. It's already been done, and then you just risk so much. Where can you go? You know,
I see what you mean.
There's such a fine line where you're stepping over the line. Yeah, very, very clever writer and everything, of course, could do it, but anyway, it's kind of one of those things where it might be worth it to give everybody who's a fan of the prequels their moment, you know, with Hayden Christensen back. And Hayden Christensen deserves it. I mean, he
Yeah.
really does. He deserves some kind of, and you know, they could easily bring back Jar Jar too to give, and you could argue that that's deserved too. So
Yeah.
you know, and again, could be a completely different character and everything. So, but yeah, it's cool to build the hype and give the prequel fans their moment. And I think it's not so much Obi-Wan that being his central relationship; it's Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan. That's his central relationship. So if you have Ewan playing the part, they really go together incredibly well. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was almost, it seems like, although that was surprise to me when you said that, when I thought about it, that almost seems like it's obligatory to dealing with his Obi-Wan. So
Right. Yeah, no, I love the idea. I'm pretty excited about it, you know, regardless of how they spin this, if it's like you're saying flashbacks or, you know, just him in a back to tank or him without his helmet on, whatever. I think it's going to be well done. I really do. And I'm glad to see that Hayden Christensen's getting a chance to reprise the role.
What would be interesting is if they have Vader hunting Jedi, which was one of his jobs.
Basically what he did.
And he hears a report of what Obi-Wan is doing, and he's showing up to find out, is this a Jedi? And what I'm feeling, could it possibly be true? Could it be Obi-Wan?
Okay, so we were in the middle
Obi-Wan's probably gonna rock, and
yeah,
it might be cool if they make it as much a tribute to the prequels for the prequel fans as the Mandalorian is to the OT. You know,
yeah.
that would be pretty neat, actually. So
yeah, I think so. All right, so moving on, the next series they announced, also a limited series, Ahsoka is going to get her own series.
Yay.
Yeah, I know we kind of talked about how we had hoped for that. Well, that is happening.
Does that one have a teaser trailer or anything?
That does not. That has nothing.
Okay.
Favreau and Filoni are the showrunners. Obviously, Filoni is going to be attached to that because she's his character, basically. The only thing we have for this is a logo. All these things, everything they announced has a logo except for the unnamed, you know, Waititi film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a cool looking logo, right?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so what that sort of image behind her, you see the blue, you know, with like the star chart and all that behind her, or behind the name. It's basically very reminiscent of the World Between Worlds from Rebels. And I know Gundark, you haven't seen Rebels much, so I won't go too much into it. But anyway, it's definitely obviously going to be tying in some of the issues from Rebels in this show as well. So I mean, my gut instinct tells me that the show is going to be, you know, I think this is where we're going to see Thrawn. I don't think, now that they've announced this, I don't think we're going to see Thrawn in Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian, right?
Right. I think we're going to see.
This is an MCU kind of thing, yeah, where they're setting
exactly,
up.
and that's literally the way these announcements are going.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of intertwining of storylines and shows and stuff. It looks like. All right, so I'm going to go back to normal here. All right.
Now that's neat.
Yeah,
That's
that was a cool thing. All right. So any final thoughts on Ahsoka before we move on?
It's just wonderful to have that confirmed, and especially right after her premiere on The Mandalorian, she was so wonderful.
Yeah,
that one
absolutely.
episode. I'm looking forward to it even more now.
Same here. Okay, so next we've got something very closely linked to that show, AHSOKA, another series called Rangers of the New Republic. And Favreau and Filoni again are showrunners on this. Now, this one they did confirm that it takes place in the exact same timeline as The Mandalorian.
It's like chips.
And I'm thinking, my gut instinct, I haven't heard this, they didn't announce this, but my thing is I have a feeling this is going to be the Cara Dune spinoff.
Cara Dune, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've already gotten a little taste of that with, you know, her, now she's wearing the little badge, you know, the little New Republic badge, and the scene with the fighter pilot, you know, saying, hey, you know, you should join us, and, you know, dropping that on the table for her and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's kind of the seeds have now been sown that she's joining the New Republic, and that's I have a feeling. I mean, who knows if she's going to be the main character? Maybe she'll be a side character. Who knows? But
Well,
I have a feeling she'll play a role.
Do a spinoff of her?
What's that?
Have they said they're going to do a spinoff of Cara Dune?
No, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that officially. No.
I could see where they could use her to establish the show.
Right.
Mhm.
But not
But I
necessarily
could
be the
also
main.
see her staying on the Mandalorian because she's.
Mhm.
If they start spinning off every character from the Mandalorian,
Well,
there
that's the
won't be
thing. But
anybody left.
but also keep in mind too, one thing they did mention is that Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka will both cross over into Mandalorian again. So there will
they mentioned
so,
that.
so in yeah, they did mention that in future episodes or future seasons of, which I thought was encouraging, future seasons of Mandalorian, that they're going to be crossing over
Crossover
with
episodes.
both Rangers and Ahsoka, the both
Cool.
shows.
That's neat.
So, yeah, so
Continuity,
they're
yeah.
definitely getting into some MCU stuff there. So I think they're using that as the template for Star Wars now on streaming. Okay, so that's Rangers of the New Republic. Moving on to the next one. I'm glad that Gundark is sitting down for this.
Is this the one I think? Wait, is this the one I think it is?
Yes, it is.
What?
Okay, can I put it on my background?
What is happening?
Yeah, go ahead and put it on your background.
All right.
What
If
is-
this works, we'll see if this works. I hope it
What
does. 'Cause...
is happening?
So the next news show is there it is.
Oh, it's what I've been longing for. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, tell me about it, and it better be right. Tell me about it.
It's like she got frozen in carbonite there for a second. You know, the pose was almost the pose was almost exact too. Like if you had the other hand up.
Oh my God. Okay, give me the details. Oh, I am so psyched. I have been waiting for this since Solo Star Wars story.
We just did that in Photoshop. That's not.
Yeah, that's not really a show.
No.
No, just kidding. All right, so unfortunately, we don't have many details on this one. We really don't know much about this. All they've said basically is that Justin Simeon is going to be basically the main writer, director, whatever on the show, showrunner. But it is going to be a series on Disney Plus. It's called an event series, but we're assuming that maybe also means like a limited one-season run, like some of these are going to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically it. They literally had no information beyond that. It didn't say who was going to be playing Lando, what's the timeline, nothing. But there will be a Lando
If
series.
they haven't signed him yet, they just wrote Donald Glover a blank check by announcing the show.
I don't want a young Lando without Donald Glover.
Well, now here's the thing. It could be post Return of the Jedi Lando, in which case you could cast again an older Lando.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. Nobody could play a younger Lando but Donald Glover. He did it. He knocked it out of the park. It needs to be.
Well, I'm just saying he could be in the Mandalorian timeline or something like that, in a different timeline than what we're thinking the Solo timeline.
So,
Right.
Are you saying he could show up on some of the other series?
Or it could be him as a kid, which would be weird, but as a child.
And then could there be the possibility of having Billy D. Williams make cameos or?
Well, isn't that what I said a few weeks back or whatever it was, that I wanted to see a series where Billy D. Williams tells the story and then you have the side characters that were there kind of tell how it actually happened. That would be friggin' hilarious. Like tales from his diary. You remember the diary he was keeping in Solo?
Yes. The
Yeah.
Chronicles.
That's what a
Yeah.
lot of people in
Calrissian
fan circles are
Chronicles.
talking about, is that maybe they could do it that way. Like start the episodes with Lando, with
Billy D.
Williams actually referring to a story or starting to tell a story, and then you actually see the story with Donald Glover portraying it.
He's always done great with voice work for the character and everything. So
Right.
it'd be an awesome way to merge the two
Mhm.
if you got Donald Glover doing it.
Right.
Ever since that one scene in Rise of Skywalker, one of the only scenes that was really great in the movie is when he tells about how he and Luke were hanging out and doing some kind of mission on that planet. It was like, oh, that's the movie I want to see. That's the TV series I want to see. Young Luke and Lando going on separate missions. So maybe
The ending is evidently a real disappointment, though, because they found nothing, and Lando just stayed and hung out
Just hung
for
out,
decades in this desert. And he's like, "Oh, there's gonna be another festival in 40 years."
I gotta be here for
it was
that.
like Lando is like, halt the movie, stop the movie right now. Lando, just sit down and tell me about this adventure that you had, And
It's
then
been
we-
20 years. If I leave now, I lose this seat. It's
Oh, I'm so psyched for that. I am so glad. I am so glad. That was the main thing that I wanted out of Solo, a Star Wars story, was a Lando television series. After when we found that they were going to cancel or put on hold the possible sequels to that movie, it was just like Donald Glover was too good as young Lando for him to be wasted. He needs to play Lando again, and so I really hope he'll be in this TV series.
Yeah.
What was
I
the
wonder-
date? What was the timeline? The date when they expect it'll be released? Nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
I
nothing.
wonder if they'll get Emilia Clarke for it.
Yeah,
Because
they
she already
could-
knew Lando in Solo. So if they said it
Yeah.
before the
Oh,
events of
right.
Solo,
I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah. that's a good
And
point.
yeah, you could have several. You could have Chewbacca maybe in there somewhere, depending on when they do it. Even after Solo, they could, if they said it after Solo but before New Hope, they could bring all
Yeah.
those characters back if they wanted to.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm
so,
excited.
And
Any-
the first
any
thing that will
final
happen
thoughts
is
on Lando?
Tandy Newton
I'm
survived.
So
I knew you would be. That was my whole purpose for doing a reaction thing.
I am so glad that I did not see that before. I forgive you guys for all the carrot and stick stuff because that
We
was
don't
a
need your
great carrot.
forgiveness.
That was a great carrot.
We don't need
your
all right. So I just uploaded another, check the chat. I sent another link. We need to do another reaction video to the next one.
Okay.
All right.
Tell
The
me when you're all
malevolent
queued
to
up.
everyone.
I am loading.
This is,
Oh.
yeah.
That
Oh,
looks
finally.
Oh, okay. I see it on the
Andor.
title.
Yeah, so that's,
Yeah.
this is another one that
Yeah.
obviously we've known for a while
Yeah.
is going to happen. We just really have gotten very little information on it. So anyway, this is now what we've got for Andor. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, on 3, 2, 1, play.
Yavin Base.
Oh.
I thought they might use footage from
Oh.
Rogue One. You were lucky. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, these sets look huge.
Yeah, that's very cool. Love the art.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
Neil Scanlon.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, K2SO.
Cool. Yeah, I wonder. But they've already signed him, right? I mean,
Yeah, they
Alan
might just be
was
Tudyk,
holding.
it
yeah.
he?
They just
They may
might be
just-
holding that
yeah.
back.
Right.
Because he was already announced to be part of that series. Oh, that looks
Mhm.
wonderful. I really like the
does look really good.
artwork and the creature design and
Yep.
costume design and the sets. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah, the sets look massive.
Looks like
Okay,
they
so this
put a
is
lot of
also
money in
looks
it.
to be a 12 episode, one season show as well, also a
Yeah.
limited series. All right.
Wow. Which makes sense. They're doing a lot of series on characters that fates we already know, kind of. Like
In a lot of ways, yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
so they're limited series because I wonder if there's more to come.
Hmm.
You know,
I think so. Yeah, I think so. All right. Let me go ahead and load up the next logo.
because some
Alright,
of this
this-
stuff they have to build for the future. You know,
Yeah. Well, this,
Not
yeah,
just a
and that's the
limited
thing.
run.
None of, this isn't 10 projects in the next year and a half, you know.
Right.
This is
Right.
probably like 10 projects over the next
Well, I mean,
decade.
they want properties that can continue on,
Right,
not
of
just do a
course.
limited
Yeah.
run of 10 episodes and it's
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Okay, so here's the next logo. Star
Oh.
Wars: The Acolyte. This is the one that I'm really jazzed for. Not that I'm not jazzed for all of them, but
Okay.
this one is the one that I've been alluding to on a couple of conversations. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in episodes or not, but this looks to be finally a dark side focused series. Yes, The Acolyte looks to be just that. So what we know about it, it's a series on Disney Plus. It's going to be basically the head writer looks to be someone named Leslie Headland. Her credits include she's written and directed shows for Russian Doll, Heathers, Terriers. I've never seen any of these shows, so I really can't speak to them. Now,
It's
IMDb,
very dark stuff.
even though, yeah, exactly. Even though we didn't get a release date, IMDb shows it being in pre-production right now.
Wow.
Whereas for some of these other shows I looked up on IMDb, they're just listed as announced. So this one actually says in pre-production. So this one may be coming before some of the other ones that we've seen.
Wow.
Though there was a phrase, this is kind of the tagline for The Acolyte that they read, a mystery thriller that will take the audience into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era.
Oh, wow. Now
So
that
that's
sounds cool.
yeah. So that's what we're looking at there. So I'm really looking forward to this because, as you know, as I know, I've had the conversation with you guys before. I'm really looking forward to just having, you know, a dark side show to watch. You know, something that focuses on the dark side, and I don't know,
One of
just
the untold stories that we have
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
exactly. So, all right.
That's
Well,
very
who,
cool.
any speculation as to who the acolyte will be, or maybe someone we've seen before, or a new character?
Well,
or-
it's possible that this is going to actually be similar to. Hold on a second. I'm trying to get the name. The name is escaping me.
Could it be like a Darth Bane type thing, or a
Well,
Darth,
it's not going to be Darth Bane, but what I think it's actually going to be. Oh, Xana, that's her name. Xana was Darth Bane's apprentice
apprentice.
in that trilogy, and this could basically be her story after that trilogy.
Oh wow!
So
would be
yeah, and that
great.
would be pretty phenomenal considering as much as I love that series. Yeah, so I mean, obviously they haven't said anything about that. That's just me talking. That maybe that's what it'll be. I think that would be great. But that's about the only speculation I've got at this point, is if it may be Xana. So
Terriers was a really good show on FX that only lasted like a year or two, that I watched from the beginning and was very deserving of continuing, but got canceled for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
Because it didn't catch on. But it had Donald Logue in it.
Oh yeah,
that's his
exactly.
name properly, but he was the lead in that. And then there was the other guy who I saw. He did a one-shot appearance on The Walking Dead and stuff. Was the other lead in that series. But,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, and he's been on Vikings and stuff since. It'd be interesting if that connection plays out, where she pulls him or some other people from that show in.
Yeah.
To that.
Cool. All right. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Okay, next we've got one titled Star Wars Visions. This is a limited animated series, no release date or anything like that. What this is actually going to be, this is a series of 10 short animated films celebrating Star Wars through the lens of basically the world's best anime artists. So it's basically going to be Star Wars anime. So I think that's going to be pretty amazing. I have a feeling that's going to be pretty cool.
Oh,
So,
that would
yeah.
be neat.
But
So will
yeah.
that be a Disney Plus will that be
Yeah, that
their
should be also be
property, or
that should also be
okay.
a Disney Plus property. Yeah.
Mm.
So that really, beyond that, they really didn't have any information. But yeah, that's going to be pretty impressive. I think I have a feeling that's going
That will
because
be.
I mean, if you think about that kind of a show, I mean, they obviously they haven't given us information yet, but perhaps they could just pull from all different areas, you know,
Yeah.
and you know they could do some original trilogy stuff. They can do some prequel era stuff. You know, they can do Mandalorian era stuff. You know, whatever. Yeah, so that should be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything that great animators would want to play with. Be
Right.
cool.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so a couple more to go. This one, you know, we'll throw it out there and see see what happens. But it's called Star Wars: A Droid Story.
A droid
A
story.
droid story. Now, this is also going to be a series on Disney Plus. No release date has been given, but basically, the way they described it is that it's Lucasfilm Animation is going to team up with the effects team in ILM to produce an adventure that will introduce a new hero guided by C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh,
So 3PO and
wow.
R2-D2 are going to be the principal figures in this show. Obviously
This
animated.
sounds like a show for you guys.
For you
'Cause
guys.
Yeah, because it's like Wally,
Oh.
which is one of her favorite.
Wally.
It's one of her favorite things either.
Which I
Ever.
love
And
Wally.
then-
Wally's one of
and
my all-time
you-
favorites.
And yeah, see, I'm
Wally.
right. And then who here R2 is your favorite? Just about your favorite character?
Oh.
Oh, both of you. Okay, well,
R2 is way up there.
yeah. See,
If we remember my top 10, I know he was in the top 5 of all-time Star Wars characters.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that's cool.
So that's basically
More
it.
work for Anthony Daniels.
I have a feel. Yeah, exactly. I have a feeling that this is probably a case of, you know, ILM has some new technology they want to try out, and they're going to do it on this show. You know?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's what they created this
Disney
show for.
loves their droid ambassadors, you know.
Exactly.
And they're probably going to create a character that they can finally release in the Disney parks because it's been too complicated. You know,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
kids jump on them and destroy them and stuff. So they'll come up with something that can finally be released to roam around the Disney parks too, I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. That's a good point.
Crossover.
Okay, and we end up.
I am kind of surprised
go
none of these have so far have been set in. Is it Batu? What is the? No, what is the?
Yeah,
name of
I'm kind
Outer
of surprised
Rim.
at that too. I really
Yeah.
thought that at least something would be,
it? Yeah,
yeah,
to
maybe
give you a
taking place
future
on
hint.
Batu or yeah.
Because they can't ride the sequel train forever. I mean, I mean,
Right.
obviously they can keep the rides there, but you want to maybe eventually move the timeline a little
Hmm.
somewhere so you can have some more.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
or put some shows and ideas and stories around it so you can bring in more things that tie into
Right.
people are
Right,
watching on
exactly.
TV.
Exactly. So
Maybe I should have been there
we got
for their
one more.
meetings.
One more to announce, and this is one that we already know about, and I didn't necessarily put it last because it's my favorite, because it's not necessarily my favorite, but the Bad Batch, the animated
Oh,
series, which is
yay.
basically going to be a Clone Wars continuation, basically not just a spinoff, but a continuation. They're saying that this one, of course, is going to be a series on Disney Plus. It's coming soon. Most likely, they didn't give a date, but most speculation seems to be it's probably early 2021. So we're probably not that far off from it.
A continuation.
Yeah, continuation, because basically it
Of
tells
their
the story
storyline.
of these characters after, like literally after Order 66, and as the Empire starts to
Okay,
come
that's
into
what I was-
being.
'cause it was
That's
like,
what I mean. It's not so. I mean, we're
isn't
not
the Clone
necessarily-
Wars over?
Yeah, the Clone Wars are over, but I'm just saying it's as opposed to just being like, oh, this is just stuff they did during the Clone Wars. You know, it's actually moving the story forward.
So this
So,
might be because they were the Bad Batch. They may not be affected by Order 66 or something.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
And then
Yeah, that's
they-
exactly what it
Then
is.
they
Yeah.
become a self-contained group. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that
right.
would be wonderful.
So basically, obviously, it's going to center around the 4 main characters of Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, Sergeant Hunter, who's their leader. But the trailer they do have a trailer for this. That when they debuted that, they did show that Echo will be joining the cast for the show.
Oh, cool.
The one of the other clones. So, which I
Well,
will
they
say-
better
Well,
hurry
it's-
up and seal up all those voice actors for the
Yeah.
different characters before they.
Yeah, I'm
are
sure
busy
they've
doing
done
something
all
else.
of that before this has happened.
Isn't it the same guy doing all that?
Yeah, it is the same guy.
Just a little joke. Sorry, clone joke.
Yes.
Clone joke.
Clone joke.
Clone-
Okay, do we
clone
want to
dad.
watch the trailer for that?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Or like drums.
The Bad Batch.
Geonosis.
Yeah.
Not Geonosis, sorry, Camino, I meant.
Get it right, Traitor. I like how he looks like a cross between Sylvester Stallone and Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, I like the animation style.
Yeah, it's great. Huh?
Oh, it looks like some great battle
Clone
sequences like in
Commandos.
Clone Wars. Oh
Oh, what?
wow! Oh,
Tarkin, Clone Commandos. Oh, nice.
that's a nice logo transition. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Dang.
Okay. Yes, I'm excited.
Now,
Uh,
I'm the Clone Wars newbie, but I've seen enough of Clone Wars now to be introduced to the Bad Batch, and their episodes of the attack on Kamino was wonderful. So I'm looking, when I heard that they were expecting to have that series, although it wasn't confirmed yet, I was excited about it. I'm really glad to see it confirmed, and the footage looks great.
Yeah, it does. Now, did you catch the other cameo that was in there from another
No.
character?
I
It's
saw Tarkin. And I saw.
well, yeah, Tarkin, but also Fennec Shan is in there. That was
Oh,
the assassin they
wow.
kept seeing.
Oh,
like,
I
look
was
over
wondering
his
who that
shoulder
was
with
with
the
the
slit.
helmet.
She was looking through. Yeah, that's Fennec
Oh.
Shan.
Okay.
So
That's
that's kind of
neat.
interesting that we're going to get a little bit of backstory on her now that she's popping up in a few Mandalorian episodes.
That's neat. Oh, cool. Well,
So,
I'm
yeah,
older than she
feeling
looks.
things feel a lot more coherent now, don't they?
Yeah, I think
with
so.
these announcements.
That's the kind of the takeaway I had from it, is that it felt like, yeah, they've got a goal here. They've got something, in mind, like the MCU, to where they're really going to kind of start intertwining all these things and really having it make more sense, as opposed to what they did with the sequel trilogy, where they just threw darts at a board and just made them up as they went along.
Yeah.
And we see how bad that turned out. So
I mean, we were so excited originally for all the new stuff with the sequel trilogy, where we were going to have this embarrassment of riches of a new Star Wars film every 2 years,
right.
and then it was obvious they really didn't have an overall plan. And I feel like now they've got a plan where they're connecting everything, rather than just giving random projects to whoever wants to do a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars show. It seems like they're working on connecting it so that it will make sense. So I
Right.
feel more confident now than I did before, with all the material they were supposed to have before, that looked like it really didn't have much coherence to it.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a good point.
They were just signing like the Game of Thrones guys and
Yeah.
that director, that anybody that they thought made a splash. Who was the other Trevorrow? They gave him
Right.
a movie. It's like, yeah, they were trying to be the hot trendy
Exactly. It's like
thing or whatever.
all the cool directors will just grab all them and have them make their own movie.
Yeah, and you can't do that with a world building mythos. You
Right.
got to have
No.
some coherence to it. So
Yep, exactly. So anyway, so that's the Star Wars big announcement or the Disney big announcement for Star Wars.
cool.
I am just, I've been blown away. I've been doing nothing but watching hours and hours of announcements and speculation and all kinds of stuff. I literally felt like, I was 8 years old and it was Christmas morning again, and I got like every gift I ever wanted. So I'm pretty stoked about all this for sure.
Oh, I am too. Now I'm going to spend the rest of my day looking at all those things that I wasn't allowed to look at.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Since things have changed so much, have they clarified like these the movies? Are they for the theater or are they for Disney Plus streaming release?
I'm getting the feeling
That's a
that
good
they're talking about
question.
feature films. I mean, honestly, who knows from the next 2 to 3
at
years?
this point, yeah.
Because already things are being released simultaneously.
Yeah, and
They're really
theaters
like
are
in the
closing.
theater and at home at the same
Yeah.
exact time. So 3, 4, 5 years from now, I mean, who knows what we're going to be doing?
Who knows
But-
if any theater chains will survive?
But I
Yeah.
believe,
Out there.
my guess is right now that the intention is to put them in the theaters,
Yeah.
especially considering they've already got tons of Disney Plus content.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt them to put a couple in the theater to keep that experience going.
And especially because the first movie was quite a ways off, right? What was it, 2022 or
2023
something?
is Rogue
23?
Squadron, and then
Yeah,
potentially 2025 is the YTD film.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's funny they claim there's Star Wars fatigue, and
yeah.
then we're gonna wait on movies a while because the Star Wars fatigue,
Right.
and then they put their TV show out, which was already done a done deal, and it is a home run. So they just go nuts with the TV shows
Right.
and still stick to their plan of, "Well, we're going to wait a while to put out a." I mean, right now it's obvious why you would wait, because all the
Yeah.
Disney projects have been screwed over the past year.
Yeah.
All the Disney movies that came out, but it's just funny. There was no Star Wars fatigue. Give me a break.
No.
I mean, there might have been some amongst just the people that jumped on board the bandwagon.
Sure. Yeah,
when Force
exactly.
Awakens came out.
It got fatigued because people began to realize how incoherent it was.
Yeah.
And you're tired of getting pieces that you thought were going to be
Yeah.
great and make sense and then not make sense.
I think you only get tired of something if it's just not that good.
If it's bad,
Yeah.
You know?
if it's bad.
if it's good, if it's bad, if it's
That's the
poor
same
quality,
from the beginning.
yeah, I'll be fatigued of it too.
Yeah.
Like I don't want
Yeah.
to watch that anymore.
And it has to be good in every respect. It not just special effects, because we have plenty of those. That special effects coming out our ears now. TV shows look amazing.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
different
TV
styles
shows
of
look like
special
feature
effects.
films. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do different styles. They do different effects houses. There's just something for to appreciate about all of it. But the quality is insane. The commercials, everything. You can't put anything out that looks real shoddy anymore.
Mm-mm.
So so anyway, yeah, it's got to have more than just that, and that was the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was they really couldn't set up a story. It was too dependent on the old story, just retelling the old story. But
Right.
now they're at least doing it with original characters. There may not be the greatest story in the world being told, but it's personal. You can follow and latch on to one character you like or two characters you like and watch their progress and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have all the toys and gadgets and Star Warsiness on the side to engage you too. So
Sure.
that's more successful than trying to be epic and
Yeah.
it does not work.
And to kind of
epic ideas.
Yeah, and to put a point on what you just brought up, I think we really have to thank the Mandalorian for all of this. If the
Sure.
if the Mandalorian
Yeah.
had tanked, this would not be happening. But
Yeah.
they bring it out, and it's such a massive hit. That's why they're just putting all their chips in. We're all in on Star Wars.
Have you read anything or seen anything? Have they announced anything about who's in charge of Star Wars now, or
There's no change at this point. Yeah, there's no. I mean, it's still Kathleen Kennedy. She's still head of Lucasfilm.
but nothing's been said. They've just said this person's a showrunner attached
Right.
to this one.
Right.
This
Yeah.
one, we don't have the details.
The individual
yet.
project, they haven't come out and made an announcement like
But
this.
there's
this
nobody-
person
they
is
haven't-
in charge of all creative aspects of Star Wars or anything like that.
Yeah, I keep expecting them to do that with Favreau.
Right.
Like say
Yeah,
he is
Favreau or
the-
Filoni or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then where was Feige going, or however you pronounce his
Yeah,
name?
Kevin Feige.
Well,
yeah.
they got too many. I really think though that Filoni and Favreau, their ascendance because of this stuff is just impossible to ignore. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
they're earning it. They're earning it
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, they're earning it
And-
by doing it. Yeah, they're not just coming in and talking a big game. They're saying, "Look what we've done, and look what we can do."
And
then
they're both
got
in a
evidence.
position to say no too to certain things and say, like dictate their terms. So
Sure. Yeah, they're
neither
definitely
one of
in that
them-
position right now.
neither one of them might want to be in charge of everything, but
Mhm.
they may want their stuff, greenlit or more to
Yeah,
have
and
more
you've got to
power over their
imagine-
projecans.
You've got to imagine that they have
Oh
pretty much
gosh,
carte
yeah.
blanche as far as creative control over their projects right now. Obviously, I mean, who knows what goes on behind the scenes, but I would be shocked if I heard that Kathleen Kennedy goes back there and says, "No, you can't do that on this Mandalorian episode. You need to do something different." I just don't see that happening right now with the
Yeah.
way that things have been going on that show. So
No, I don't think they have to be really foolish to want to mess it up.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And to put drive any wedges in there and push anybody away
Mhm.
would not be a good idea.
Yeah.
They have plenty of other properties just to invest in and to bring, if somebody wants control or new ideas or
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
they can mess around with the new stuff, and
Yeah.
but they need to Yeah, when Favreau and Filoni are involved, they need to let them be in charge of it.
Yeah.
And you get the feeling with those guys too that, especially Filoni, probably knows everybody. He probably knows everybody at ILM. He probably knows. I mean,
Sure.
you look at the Mandalorian episode. There's a million effects houses that work on it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of names do it, so he can't know everyone. But you know, he knows a lot of the people that have been around Lucasfilm, I'm sure, and everything. So,
Because he's been involved there since 2005.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's
Yeah.
been around
So I don't.
15 years now.
He doesn't. You never see him seeming like a moody dictator or anything. You know?
No.
No.
He seems
No,
like
not
he
at
knows
all.
the capabilities of people, and therefore, you know, knows how to get those people involved and use them and stuff. That's kind of. I like that vibe much more than the auteur director
Yeah.
vibe, where
Yeah.
you know, where they're just given a blank check or whatever.
Mhm.
And anyway, but yeah, that's all very cool. I know the Ahsoka, the Rogue Squadron, the Bad Batch, the Acolyte.
Mhm.
What else?
Lando.
Lando.
I mean, how many did I just name? That was like 5 there.
Yeah.
I'm like, would this be number one I'm looking forward to? Would this be
Right.
number one? There's at
Yeah,
least 5 there.
I was
Yeah.
wondering that
Oh.
myself. I was trying to think if I could pick a top 3 that I'm most looking forward to, and it's almost impossible, you know.
Yeah,
Because
no,
if I literally did pick the 3 off the top of my head, it would be Bad Batch, Rogue Squadron, and Acolyte. But then that leaves
Wow,
out
yeah.
Andor, that leaves out Lando, that leaves out Ahsoka. I mean, it's like
I can't believe you'd even knock Ahsoka down that far.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially when we already know she kicks ass. We don't know anything.
Well, that's the
about
thing.
her.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, I guess I would put that above Acolyte because we know
Yeah.
nothing about the Acolyte. I guess I've just wanted a dark side
Anticipation.
Yeah.
Sith
Yeah,
Sith
it's the anticipation
themed
thing.
show for so long. You know, we're finally getting
Since
it.
we got some Ahsoka, we can
Yeah.
wait. It's not
Yeah.
as exciting as
All right. So, any final thoughts
Gorgeous.
before we wrap up?
I'm just really
we were just
excited now.
passing through history.
Just so good.
But this is Eastern.
Nice French accent there.
Do as you will. So anyway, I'm stoked. I'm excited. I've been literally on a high ever since I found this out about 24 hours ago. Yeah.
Give us your best Han rescuing Luke at the Death Star. Come on, Corellian. You've been on a high. Do it. Harness that energy. All right. That was
Yeah,
pretty
yes.
good. Pretty good.
All right. There we go.
For someone who's allergic to high fives, you sure did a hell of a fist pump there.
Oh man. Nobody here's
Are you
allergic to high
going to raise
fives.
the roof next?
Man, high fives and teddy bears and fireworks. That's a recipe for a good Saturday night.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'm all about
All right.
those high fives, man.
There's no Greedo show. I'm very pissed off.
The Greedo show. Yeah, maybe next year they'll announce the Greedo show.
It'll be called Laser-Proof Vest. Everyone else comes back from the dead. I can't
Well, we
Greedo.
were actually talking while you were gone, and about Rogue Squadron, and you know, if it turned out to, we were talking about how we'd like it to be a series as well, but that would be so cool if it was the old Rogue Squadron, like original trilogy era Rogue Squadron with actually a Wedge, so we'd literally get a Wedge series, because he's like the main
Yeah.
he's like the main character in the book series,
Yeah.
Wedge, so that would just be
It's about time.
incredibly badass to have a Wedge series.
I wonder if they'll do that or if they'll just have their picture on the wall, of the
Right.
former
Right.
Rogue
I have
Squadron members.
my gut is telling me it's going to be like a new Rogue Squadron that they're putting
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
throwing with the name homage to the old Rogue Squadron. And
That's
yeah,
what made me wonder
have-
if it
they'll
was
have a
going to be
throw-
sequel trilogy.
they'll
they
have
could-
like
that
a
could be the-
ring of honor with all the faces.
Yeah.
That could
We'll
be
have,
the first movie set
Porkins and
after
those
the
guys.
sequels.
Yeah, it could
In
be.
which case, they could have Dennis Lawson as the elderly Wedge,
Oh, now
as
that
the
would be
as the guy
cool.
assigning them their mission, the general assigning them their missions and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, that would
And
be
checking
amazing.
out their training and
Yeah.
stuff. But I don't know what their enemies and stuff would be. And the graphics imply more of a Galactic Civil War
Yeah.
era.
Right.
Sounds like it's a war picture, the way
Yeah.
she described.
So, but it was fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks, guys. I had a blast. So we got a lot to look forward to.
Fun,
We
yeah.
do. I have a lot
All
more
right.
confidence now with the way things are going than I would have a year or two ago.
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
So-
absolutely. Yeah. Well,
I don't know if I'm over that Star Wars fatigue though. I have to lie down.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I'm feeling kind of.
This is a double dose of Star Wars fatigue day.
Kinda,
It's like
kinda
the worst day
fatigued
ever.
and- I'm so
Disney, you're
fatigued from
breaking my
Star
back.
Wars.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yep.
You 5 of you out there, keep the faith.
All 4 of you, all 4 of our viewers.
Let's start that writing campaign for the Greedo show. Come on, we gotta have it.
We'll just do a show starring the 3 of us. Traitor
He
the
could-
Malevolent,
A
Emperor
Gundark,
Gundark, and
a
Acolyte
Corellian
Greedo.
He could have a Kermit the Frog puppet as his sidekick instead of a Baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be all
Kermit
about
the
being green.
Frog.
Oh, Greedo, what are you doing? You look kind of sad.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good one.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
We all know round here, Solo always does shots first. Singing yo no, raise your glass and sing yo no. Sing it with me, yo no. At the Cantina Club.
Okay.
Okay.
That
And that's
sounds
noon
good.
Gundam time, yes.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
Gundam.
Gundam
standard.
time.
Gundam time.
Gundam.
Gundam time.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great night. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.